Today's lesson is dining at a restaurant. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Helen.
And today we've got some situational dialogues about going to a restaurant for a meal. We are dining at a restaurant, and today we are waiting for a table. Reggie and Katie have gone to a restaurant, and they're talking to the host, trying to get a table so they can enjoy a meal.
Yep, there are various types of conversations that you can have with people at a restaurant, with the host, with the waiter, about the food that you want to order. So today we're going to look at some situations, some dialogues that might come up the next time you want to make a reservation at a restaurant or order at a restaurant or pay your bill at a restaurant.
Exactly. And of course, sometimes restaurants are quite popular and they may or may not have a table if you show up in person, so you might want to get a reservation first, or you might want to make a reservation first. And in the first part of our lesson for today, we are waiting for a table. So let's listen to their conversation right now.
Dining at a restaurant.
1. Waiting for a table. Reggie and Katie walk by a new restaurant and decide to see if there's a table available. Welcome to Salt and Pepper. How can I help you?
We were wondering if you have a table for two.
Do you have a reservation?
No, but we noticed that you opened recently, so we wanted to give the place a try.
We're glad to have you. We don't have any tables free at the moment, but I should be able to seat you in 15 to 20 minutes. We don't mind waiting a little. Great. Can I have your names, please? I'll call you when your table is ready.
So the first part of today's conversation is titled Waiting for a Table. And Reggie and Katie walk by a new restaurant and decide to see if there's a table available. So they're in the restaurant, and the host, who is the person who stands usually at the front of the restaurant to greet the guests, says to Katie and Reggie, "Welcome to Salt and Pepper. How can I help you?"
Interesting name for a restaurant, Salt and Pepper. These are common condiments for Western food, along with ketchup and mustard and things like that. So the name of this restaurant is Salt and Pepper, and the host is being very polite. "How can I help you? What can I do for you today?" And Reggie says, "Well, we were wondering if you have a table for two." So they were just walking past, and maybe they're a little hungry. They were looking for a place to eat, and they noticed this new restaurant. "Hey, I've never seen this restaurant before. Let's go check it out." So they go in there and they talk to the host, and they ask for a table for two, and the host has a question. "Well, do you have a reservation?" Now, a reservation, of course, is when you call ahead of time to set a time and a date for when you're going to go in there and have a meal. You can make a reservation at a restaurant. You can also make a reservation at a hotel, which is probably recommended because sometimes these places fill up and you might have to wait a long time.
Right. So the host wants to know whether Reggie and Katie have a reservation. And that's often a question that is asked at restaurants here as well in Taiwan, which is kind of strange because if I go into a restaurant and say, "Do you have a table for two?" it's implied that I don't have a reservation. Otherwise, I would just say, "I have a reservation under the name of Helen." But in any case, the host asks, "Do you have a reservation?" And Reggie says, "No, but we noticed that you opened recently, so we wanted to give the place a try." So Reggie and Katie saw that this was a new restaurant and probably that it was bustling. A lot of people were going there to eat, so they wanted to see if the food was good as well. They wanted to give the place a try. When you give something a try, it basically means that you want to try it.
Yep, to give something a go, to give something a try, to try it out, to check it out. Those are all similar phrases that you can use. The host says, "We're glad to have you. We're happy that you have come by. We don't have any tables free at the moment, but I should be able to seat you in 15 to 20 minutes. So they haven't made a reservation, so there aren't any tables available right now. They don't have any free tables right now or at the moment, but, well, there might be a table available in 15 to 20 minutes. And the host says, that they can be seated in 15 to 20 minutes. So here we've got the word seat being used as a verb, not as a noun, but as a verb. It just means someone is going to escort you to a table and then you can sit down. I don't think they're going to pick you up and put you in the chair yourself. You'll still have to sit down yourself.
Yes, and the host says that the wait time would be 15 to 20 minutes, and Katie replies, "We don't mind waiting a little." And the host says, "Great. Can I have your names, please? I'll call you when your table is ready." So the host takes down Katie and Reggie's names, and when the table will be ready, the host will come and call out those names so that they can be seated at their table.
Right, they'll call out the name. Usually they do this pretty loud. Reggie and Katie, table for two, please. And then you stand up and say, hey, we're Reggie and Katie. Okay, walk this way. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the second part. They're seated and now they're wondering what to order. They are asking for recommendations.
2. Asking for recommendations. Reggie and Katie aren't sure what to order, so they ask the waiter for his recommendations.
Have you had a chance to look at the menu?
Yes, but we don't know what to get. Do you have any recommendations?
The set menu's a great choice, a delicious combination of different dishes and flavors. That sounds good, but I'm not sure what to get for my main course. The grilled salmon is great, but the spare ribs are superb. Okay, ribs for me then. And for you, miss?
I'll try the salmon.
That's an excellent choice too.
大家好，第二部分我们可以看到单字 recommendation， 它是名词，指的是建议、提议、推荐或是介绍。例如 The report into the government's performance made many strong recommendations. 该报告对政府的表现提出了许多强而有力的建议。或者 On the recommendation of her doctor, Sienna began exercising daily. 在医生的建议下 Sienna 开始每天运动。另外，补充这个字的动词 recommend, R-E-C-O-M-M-E-N-D, recommend, 意思是推荐或是建议。像是 I don't recommend that restaurant. I got sick after eating there. 我不会推荐那间餐厅，因为上回我在那用餐后感到恶心不适。或是 Carl's school counselor recommended that he apply to several different universities. Carl 学校的指导老师建议他申请几所不同的大学。接下来我们看到单字 combination， 它是名词，意思是组合、结合或是混合。举例来说My brother owns a shop that is a combination of a coffee shop and a bookstore. 我哥哥拥有一间结合咖啡厅和书店的复合店。又或者说 The perfume is a nice combination of flowers and spice, but you should only wear it at night. 这个香水是很棒的各式花朵及香料组合，但是你应该晚上擦就好。另外，这个字去掉字尾 ation 加上 e 就会变成动词 combine，它指的是结合或是联合。我们可以说 Maybe we could combine basketball and swimming to make a new water sport. 也许我们可以结合篮球和游泳，创造一种新的水上运动。也可以说 For a delicious drink, you should combine orange juice with pineapple juice. 你应该结合柳橙汁和凤梨汁来制成一杯好喝的饮料。再来，我们看到动词 grill 指的是用烤架来烧烤或是炙烤。例如 Jack grilled hamburgers and hot dogs for the hungry children. Jack 为饥饿的孩子们烤汉堡和热狗。或是 Grilled chicken breast is a favorite of bodybuilders. 烤鸡胸肉是锻炼肌肉的人的最爱。接着我们看到单字 salmon， 它是名词，意思是鲑鱼。举例来说I love to eat fresh salmon with melted butter and a little bit of lemon juice. 我喜欢吃新鲜的鲑鱼，搭配融化的奶油和一点柠檬汁。又或者是 Vincent likes to eat all sorts of fish, but salmon is his favorite. Vincent 喜欢吃各种鱼，但鲑鱼是他的最爱。最后我们看到单字 superb， 它是形容词， 指的是极好的、品质极高的或是杰出的。例如 With Dan's superb performance in the opera, he will surely collect rave reviews from the critics. Dan 在歌剧演出中表现优异，他一定会获得影评好评的。再举一个例子 Fred recommended that restaurant to be superb in every way, creative food, considerate service, and a sophisticated atmosphere. Fred 推荐那家餐厅在各方面都非常出色，它富有创意的食物、周到的服务和高雅的氛围。
So the second part is titled Asking for Recommendations. A recommendation is a suggestion that someone or something is especially good. And a recommendation is something that diners often ask waiters when they're about to order. They want to know, do you have any recommendations? Is there a soup of the day, a special dish that we should definitely try because it's very tasty? And that is the situation now. Reggie and Katie aren't sure what to order. It's a new restaurant. They've never been here before. So they ask the waiter for his recommendations.
Exactly. Recommendation or recommendations, etc. If you're looking for a job or something, it's good to have recommendations from a past employer or from a university professor or a teacher or something like that. But in this particular case, they're just asking the waiter for some recommendations in terms of food. What's good here? What do you think we should eat because we've never been here before? And here's what the waiter says. Have you had a chance to look at the menu? So indeed, when they were seated at their table, the waiter probably gave them their menus and they could peruse the menus. They could look them over. And now the waiter has returned to the table maybe 2 or 3 minutes later. And the waiter asks them, well, have you had a chance to look at the menu? Do you know what you'd like to order?
And Katie says, yes, but we don't know what to get. Do you have any recommendations? Katie replies, in other words, yes, we have looked at the menu, but we still don't know what we should order. So please give us some of your recommendations. Please suggest to us what we should get.
Well, the waiter says the set menu is a great choice. A delicious combination of different dishes and flavors. So this is a set menu. There's a special meal that you could order. It's already set. It's already determined what the food's going to be. And it has a delicious combination of different dishes and different flavors. A combination is when 2 or more things are kind of put together to create a certain whole. So here we've got a combination of different kinds of dishes, maybe different kinds of vegetables and different kinds of meat dishes and maybe some potatoes or something. That would be a combination of all these things together. And when you eat them, it will be a culinary delight.
Yes, another word for combination could be mix. And you can use this word to describe many things, not just food. You can talk about music, like band's music is a combination of jazz and rock and heavy metal, for instance. So Reggie replies, regarding the waiter's recommendation of the set menu, that sounds good, but I'm not sure what to get for my main course. So even though he has decided on the set menu, in the set menu you still have to decide what you want to get for your courses, for your appetizer, main course, and other dishes. So there's still some decisions that you have to make.
I understand that in Europe, meals come in many courses. Where I'm from, we've only got maybe 2 or 3 courses. You have an appetizer, then the actual meal with the entree, and then you have dessert. But Helen, you've lived in Italy before, so I can imagine going to an Italian restaurant would involve many courses.
That's true. In Italy, they do serve many courses for lunch and for dinner. So Reggie isn't sure what to get for his main course, and the waiter says, the grilled salmon is great, but the spare ribs are superb. The waiter is therefore suggesting either of 2 dishes. One is a fish-based dish, which is the grilled salmon, and the other is meat-based. which is the spare ribs. So salmon is, of course, a type of fish. It's a silverfish with pink meat, and it's a sea fish. However, this type of sea fish swims up rivers to produce its eggs, and that's salmon. It has pink flesh, and often we eat smoked salmon, which is very tasty. But in this particular case, the restaurant serves its salmon grilled. When you grill something, you're cooking it on fire, directly over fire, on a flat metal frame. And another word for grilled can be barbecued. They can also say barbecued salmon. Not exactly the same thing, but when you're grilling something, it's like barbecuing something.
Exactly. So grilled is the verb here. It's cooking the meat over an open flame with little metal rods to separate the meat from the coals or whatever. Grilled salmon. I suppose there are other kinds of salmon you could order, like baked salmon, but the waiter seems to think that this is an excellent choice. It's grilled salmon. And he also says that the spare ribs are superb. So spare ribs are basically ribs from an animal, like a pig. And, of course, the waiter says they are superb, which means they're excellent, they're delicious, they're fantastic, they're out of this world, they are to die for.
Yes, and these are the two dishes that the waiter is offering as the main dish. Evidently, the restaurant doesn't have any vegetable options because the waiter didn't suggest any. But it doesn't matter to Reggie and Katie because they're happy with the selections suggested by the waiter. And Reggie says, okay, ribs for me then. In other words, Reggie is going to order the spare ribs because they are superb.
So he's ordered, and now it's Katie's turn to order. The waiter says, and for you, miss, what would you like to order?
And Katie says, I'll try the salmon. Katie is going to order something that Reggie didn't order so that maybe later on they can take a bite of each other's dishes so that they can know what it tastes like in this restaurant. And the waiter says, that's an excellent choice too. The waiter is just being very agreeable, complimenting the guests on their choices, on their decisions, like a good waiter should. And now the waiter will probably leave, go to the kitchen, and put in their orders so that Reggie and Katie can have their food.
Indeed, we should also mention that sometimes when you enter a restaurant and you sit down to order, the waiter or waitress will first ask you if you'd like to order something to drink. Okay, so sometimes it's very traditional to have some kind of drink before a meal. Then you can go ahead and order your main course and things like that. So they have ordered their main course here, and then later on, after they finish their meals, they'll probably be offered the choice of ordering dessert.
That's right. So I'm interested to know whether Katie and Reggie are satisfied with their meal, whether they like the spare ribs and the salmon, and also if they have any special requests, because often when we go to a restaurant, we might request that food be cooked in a particular way, or that they leave out certain ingredients, certain foods that they use to make the dish, because you might not like that particular ingredient, or you might get sick when you eat that ingredient. So sometimes you have to make some special requests.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. Let's turn things over to Hanny now.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在课文第二部分对话的一开始，他写说 Reggie and Katie aren't sure what to order. Reggie 和 Katie 不确定要点什么。那么在对话当中，服务生问他们说有机会看菜单了吗？这时候 Katie 说 Yes, but we don't know what to get. 有，但我们不知道点什么。然后在这个服务生推荐套餐之后， Reggie 则说 But I'm not sure what to get for my main course. 但我不确定主菜要点什么。这几个句子里面呢，它使用到 what to order, what to get.What to get for my main course. 像这样的用法其实是在 Dewich 疑问词后面接不定词 to be 来形成名词片语。好，那像这样的名词片语呢，摆在句中它可以当主词、受词或是主词补语用。我们来造3个例句看看。 第一句是 Where to hold the party is not decided yet. 在哪举办派对尚未决定。那句中的这个名词片语 Where to hold the party在哪举办派对，这部分它是当主词，那要把它视为单数哦，所以我们后面是搭配单数动词 is。 好，第二个例句 She doesn't know whom to talk to. 她不知道该跟谁谈。那么句中的名词子句 whom to talk to 是当受词用，也就是我们动词 know 的受词。第三个例句 The problem is how to convince them. 问题就在于要如何说服他们。那句中的名词片语 how to convince them 这时候它是当主词补语用，用来对这个主词 the problem 做补充说明，让句子的语义变完整。好，那另外补充一下，名词子句 W 疑问词主词加上助动词加动词，像这样的结构呢，可以简化成名词片语，也就是我们刚刚说的 W 疑问词加不定词 to V。 可是在简化的时候有两个规则要注意。第一个就是说，名词子句里面它的主词必须跟主要子句的主词或受词一样。那第二个规则则是名词子句里面要有情态助动词 should, can 或者是 could。 好，那我们来看个例子哦。I don't know how I should explain it. 我不知道该如何解释。这个句子它的主要子句，这是 I don't know 这个部分，它的主词是 I。 那么名词子句 how I should explain it 这个主词也是 I。 好，我们看到前后两个主词是一样的，而且呢名词子句里面有情态助动词 should， 所以这时候我就可以把它简化成 I don't know how to explain it。 好，那我们再看个例子。如果是说 I'm not sure how you could solve the problem，我不确定你可以如何解决那个问题。这时候主要子句跟名词子句的主词是不同对象哦，一个是 I， 一个是 you。 那这时候 how you could solve the problem 就不能简化成 how to solve the problem。 好，那么以上件重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Reservation. Sam made dinner reservations at his favorite restaurant for his big date. Recommendation.Angela chose which computer to buy based on a recommendation from her uncle. Combination. Lee always dresses in unusual clothes combinations that somehow still look good. Grill. Helen bought some pork, beef, and chicken to grill at the barbecue. Salmon. Jonathan went fishing and caught a huge salmon. Superb. Delia's work performance has been so superb that she's already been promoted twice.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoy reading along with us. I am Helen.
I am Roger.
See you next time.